All right, so today let's take a deep dive into something pretty interesting. The world of Harvard admissions. That
Yeah,
mysterious process most of us only hear rumors about.
it really is a black box for most people.
Exactly. And we've got this rare glimpse behind the curtain because we found this YouTube video.
Oh, wow.
And it features a recent Harvard grad who actually breaks down their own admissions file.
That's pretty cool.
I know, right?
You don't see that every day.
No, you don't.
This is a chance to understand how the admissions committee actually evaluates candidates.
Okay, so first things first, academics. This student had a 3.9 GPA
Okay.
and a 550 SAT score,
Hmm.
having taken Calculus AB.
Right.
Solid, but maybe not what you'd picture for a typical Harvard admit.
Right.
Yeah.
And to understand this better, we need to look at how Harvard scores academics.
Okay.
They use a 1 to 6 scale, with 1 being the highest.
Got it.
This student received a 2 minus.
A 2 minus?
Yeah.
What does that even mean in the grand scheme of things?
Well, what's interesting is that a 2 minus puts you squarely in likely admit territory. But a score of 3 plus is already considered likely reject.
Wow.
So it's not about chasing perfection. It's about hitting that 2 range.
So even with a great GPA, you really need those standardized test scores to work in your favor.
Yeah, it's all about finding that balance.
Right.
But beyond the numbers, Harvard's looking for well-rounded individuals with unique strengths. That's where the scoring system gets interesting.
Okay.
It suggests that they're not just looking for students who ace every test. They're looking for potential and intellectual curiosity.
Makes you think about how they define potential, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And that brings us to extracurriculars. This student had dedicated a whopping 500 to 600 hours to a major service project.
Whoa, 600 hours. That's incredible. That's serious dedication.
It is, but here's the nuance.
Okay.
Their project was primarily local in scope. While impactful, it didn't have the national or international reach that Harvard often seeks.
So it's not just about the number of hours. It's about the scale of impact.
Precisely, Harvard's looking for students who are thinking big,
Yeah.
looking beyond their immediate surroundings to make a difference on a broader level.
Makes you wonder if you're passionate about a project. How can you make it bigger? Maybe collaborate with others or find ways to expand its impact.
Those are great questions to consider.
Yeah.
That kind of ambition and vision are what can make an application stand out.
Now this is where things get really interesting. The student's strongest asset wasn't their grades or even those impressive extracurricular hours.
Interesting.
It was their personal score, which got a major boost from a fantastic interview.
This tells us a lot about how much Harvard values the interview, arguably more than some other top-tier schools.
Yeah.
They're not just looking at achievements on paper. They want to see who you are as a person.
They want to get a sense of your personality, your character, how you think.
Exactly. And this particular student shared an anecdote about their interview. That's pretty telling. There was a moment that felt a bit awkward initially.
Oh, like you put your foot in your mouth kind of
It's a
awkward.
bit like that.
We've all been there.
But upon reflection, the student realized that this slightly awkward moment actually gave them a chance to showcase their adaptability and self-awareness.
So it wasn't about being perfect. It was about handling an unexpected situation with grace.
And that's a quality Harvard really values.
Right.
Remember, they're not looking for robots. They're looking for human beings with emotional intelligence.
Makes you realize how important it is to just be yourself in those interviews, right? Let your personality shine through.
Absolutely. Authenticity can make a bigger impact than trying to present a perfectly polished persona.
Speaking of showcasing your best self, let's talk recommendations.
Yeah.
This student had an exceptionally strong recommendation from their college counselor, which apparently helped them secure that all-important interview.
This underscores how crucial it is to choose recommenders who really know you and can speak to your strengths with specific examples.
It's not about just getting a generic letter filled with empty praise. You need someone who can articulate what makes you unique and why you'd be a good fit for Harvard.
Think about teachers or mentors who've seen your intellectual curiosity firsthand, who've witnessed your collaborative spirit or your ability to overcome challenges. They're the ones who can write truly compelling recommendations. And choosing those recommenders thoughtfully can make a real difference in painting that complete picture of you as an applicant.
You mentioned something earlier about a spike factor. What exactly is that?
Right.
Do I need to have, like, climbed Mount Everest or written a best-selling novel by the time I apply?
Well, that would be impressive.
Yeah.
But a spike doesn't have to be something so grand.
Right.
It's more about having a standout area of achievement, a passion you've pursued with exceptional depth and dedication.
So it's not just about being well-rounded.
Yeah,
It's about having something that truly sets you apart.
exactly. And for this particular student, their spike wasn't a specific academic subject or a single extracurricular activity. It was their exceptional personal qualities, those
Right.
things that shone through in their essays and their interview.
So their spike was their personality, their ability to connect with others, that emotional intelligence we talked about.
Precisely, it's what made them memorable and left a lasting impression on the admissions committee.
That makes a lot of sense. But how do you even begin to identify your own spike? It feels like a lot of pressure to have this one defining thing.
It can feel that way, but think about it like this.
Okay.
What are you genuinely passionate about? What have you dedicated significant time and effort to?
Mhm.
It could be a particular academic subject, a creative pursuit, a social cause,
Right.
even a unique combination of interests.
Yeah.
The key is to showcase depth of engagement and a track record of achievement.
So it's about highlighting what you're truly interested in, not just trying to impress the admissions committee with a laundry list of activities.
That's right. Authenticity is key here. And once you've identified your spike, it's all about strategic storytelling. Okay. Your essays, your extracurricular choices, even your recommendations should all work together to paint a cohesive picture of who you are and what you bring to the table.
So it's about crafting a compelling narrative that showcases your strengths and the impact you've made.
Think of your application as a symphony, not a cacophony. Every element should work in harmony to create a memorable impression.
I love that analogy. It really emphasizes the importance of intentionality in the application process.
Yeah,
You can't just throw a bunch of stuff at the wall and hope something sticks.
exactly. It's about presenting a well-rounded picture of yourself,
Right.
but one that also highlights what makes you stand out, your unique spike.
So to recap, we've learned that aiming for good enough academics, the power of personality in a strong interview, the strategic use of recommendations, and the importance of cultivating and showcasing your spike are all key factors in the Harvard admissions process. It's more complex than meets the eye.
There's certainly a lot more to it than just grades and test scores. It's about showcasing your authentic self, your passions, your potential to contribute to the Harvard community.
It's about being a human being, not a robot, striving for perfection. I think that's something a lot of students lose sight of in the pressure cooker of college admissions.
And that brings us to a final thought for you, dear listener.
Okay.
Don't underestimate the importance of emotional intelligence and the ability to connect with others. These qualities can shine through in every aspect of your application, leaving a lasting impression that goes beyond numbers and achievements.
It's about the heart as much as the head. And I think that's a really empowering message for anyone feeling overwhelmed by the college admissions process.
Absolutely. Remember, while Harvard is an exceptional institution, it's not the only path to success.
Right.
The most important thing is to stay true to yourself, pursue your passions, and strive to make a positive impact.
Those are words to live by no matter where you're applying or what your goals are.
And on that note, I think we've covered a lot of ground in our deep dive into the world of Harvard admissions.
Yeah, it really has been fascinating.
It has.
A fascinating look behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Harvard admissions.
And even if Harvard isn't your ultimate goal, I think these insights we've uncovered have broader implications.
Definitely, like the whole concept of the spike,
Right.
identifying and showcasing your unique passion. That's valuable advice no matter where you're applying.
Absolutely. It's about understanding what makes you tick, what sets you apart from the crowd.
What really resonated with me was that idea of good enough academics.
Mm-hmm.
It's a relief to know that striving for absolute perfection isn't the only way.
Right. It's about finding that sweet spot, achieving excellence,
Yeah.
while also leaving room for growth and exploration in other areas.
And that anecdote about turning an awkward interview moment into an opportunity to showcase emotional intelligence,
Oh, yeah.
that was brilliant.
Yeah.
It shows that being genuine and relatable can be just as powerful as a flawless resume.
Authenticity is so crucial. Admissions committees are looking for real people, not perfectly polished robots.
Right.
They want to see your individuality shine through.
So if there's one big takeaway from this deep dive, it's this. Don't be afraid to be yourself. Let your passions guide you, cultivate your strength, and don't underestimate the power of a genuine human connection.
Beautifully said. And remember, the college admissions process, while important, is just one chapter in your love story.
Yeah.
Focus on becoming the best version of yourself, and the rest will fall into place.
Well said. Thanks again for joining us on this deep dive into the heart of Harvard admissions. Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep being awesome.